welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. Number 9.
And this is The Fool.
Your 96 best place to listen to...
For 10 years.
Yes, for our 10th season of our mostly up-to-date...
And unqualified. And unrequested.
ramblings of the various issues in the world of sport.
Or something like that.
Hello, everyone. We are back to our bread and butter.
Yeah.
Now, if you were getting sick of World Cups, we've got great news for you. We're not going to do World Cups at all. This is a World Cup-free podcast. Absolutely nothing to do with World Cups whatsoever.
Not World Cups, no. Yeah, exactly.
We all know being kings of the continent is better than being kings of the world.
Exactly.
And in the spirit of that thought, we have this year we had 5 of them out of the 6 major confederations have their Continental Confederation Cup.
Yeah.
So the federations in question are the AFCON 2024, famously already won by the Ivory Coast, winning their 3rd title. The AFC earlier in February, and also back in February, the AFC had their Continental Cup, and that was won by Qatar, also winning their 2nd title, defending the title they won back in 2020 during the COVID era, back when their country was under sanctions. And we have 3 concurrent Continental Cups happening now. There is Euro 2024. Yeah. We have the Copa America being held in the United States, going on at the same time. And obviously, the most important of all, we have the Oceania Nations Cup, which is going on at the same time. Yeah.
Hosted in Vanuatu and Fiji for a Nations Cup.
Yeah. The Gold Cup just seems to be the Copa America, and the Gold Cup just seems to be like it's almost like they're doing a copy of AFCON and just having 2 tournaments for their continental tournaments for their teams to play now. Yeah. But instead of having them every 2 years, they're having 2 in 1 year, 2 every 4 years, which I think the Africans are showing you the more efficient way of doing it.
Yeah.
As you know, it is my very, very strongly held belief that every confederation that is not UEFA and maybe not CONMEBOL should hold a Continental Cup every 2 years.
Makes sense.
Ideally in the winter, with the express exception of if there happens to be a Winter World Cup that year, like we had in Qatar.
Yeah, exactly. So we were saying before, I'd sort of feel like the Oceania one could possibly be less of a set time and just be over the 2 years and just have everybody play everybody in a league. Sort of the Nations Cup, sort of the finals, the Oceania Cup. Allow all the different federations to be involved, opposed to small qualification tournament beforehand for like 14.
I like your idea of a league. But also think that maybe we do that over 2 years, and then we have a Continental Cup as well with with the whole. And there are a bunch of island nations that do not have a FIFA team. We should maybe have some sort of thing with FIFA where they acknowledge there's good reasons for why countries like Tuvalu and Kiribati and the Marshall Islands does not have a football pitch, and we invite an amateur side to play in the Confederations Cup.
Yeah.
They're never going to host the tournament, probably.
Yeah.
So they can, and it can slowly put them on the path to membership, maybe. Or they always come and play as an amateur team in these tournaments. They always get seated in the bottom pot of every group. That's fine. They're still getting to play. I think that's pretty cool.
I think that's pretty cool. I think it'll be very useful.
Yeah,
If they would
and
just,
like
yeah, let them come, let them play. There will be highlights for their lives. So that would be something to do.
yeah. And you have and obviously you also always perennially invite Australia because they're the spiritual leaders of Oceania, even if they're no longer here. They're like the King Arthur gone away to he's gonna come back.
Yeah. I think a little bit like King Arthur. I'm not sure whether they would actually come. Maybe they'd send like a B-side or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and even that's okay. Like even if they send like an amateur Australian side, that's fine too.
Yeah. Like an all-Australian side, like of actual Australian players playing in Australia.
Yeah,
like
I mean, even
the
that would be
A-League,
pretty cool.
Yeah, the A-League All-Stars, Australian All-Stars.
Yeah. And this would be like, I think that would work out pretty well. So going into it, we're going to start by reviewing the most important tournament first, the OFC Championship.
Yeah.
The current champions are New Zealand, but New Zealand are never guaranteed to win it, though they're generally always favorites.
Yeah.
There have been 10 editions of this tournament, starting all the way back in 1973. And when it was won by New Zealand, and other than New Zealand and Australia, the only other country to have won it is Tahiti in 2012.
Yeah.
And they famously got to defend represent Oceania at the Confederations Cup as well during that time.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Which is definitely pretty cool. Now, for some reason, as you can gather from our conversation, we've had an offline conversation before recording this podcast about Oceania Nations League. We think it could be expanded. We think it should be more like Copa America. All the members should just get to play. Even if you have like just 12 teams, you just invite Australia to send a team in and you just play with groups of 6. That's fine too. I think we're all pretty happy with that. You get to play 5 games.
Yeah. I think so.
And then you have semi-finals and finals. That's pretty much all you need. I don't think we want quarters.
No. I think that's all you need. It also restricts down. Like a little bit you have to consider here is just the cost for some of the smaller nations of sending a football being gone for a long time. So even if you keep the tournament shorter, as short as possible, where they're away and having to pay for accommodation and all the rest, that's just going to keep the cost down. For the smaller countries, as you said earlier, some of them have much different issues to deal with back home. So, the money of the country's better spent elsewhere, as opposed to sending a football team to whichever part of the Pacific needs to host them. So, if you do a Nations League type thing and then, Nations League type thing over time, or if you just invite everybody, pick a spot, everyone gets there, and do a nice short, sharp tournament. A couple of pools, a pool round, and then semi-finals and final. Keep it short, so everybody gets to play some football.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the way to go. I have to apologize again. That CONCACAF Gold Cup bit that I talked about, that was for their women's Confederation Cup, not the men's. I think the men's tournament might be later this year.
I'm pretty sure the men's.
I don't think they host it I don't think they would host it in a World Cup year.
They did have the Gold Cup because the winner, part of the, they must have had it because that formed part of the qualification CONCACAF teams that are coming into the Copa America. So there was the top 4 teams in that, the semi-finalists, I think, made the were qualified. I think the winner auto qualified. The previous winner of the Copa America auto qualified, and they all.
So they had a tournament in 2023.
Maybe that winner auto qualified. Then they did a different tournament this year.
Right, so 2023, and it looks like they are having it every 2 years now, because the next tournament is in 2025, and they're gonna, that's gonna be like a practice tournament for when they have the, when they have a tournament in 2026 when they host the World Cup, obviously.
Yeah.
So the CONCACAF Cup was won by Mexico in 2023, hosted by the Canada and the United States, and it was done in June, July last year. So CONCACAF has moved their Gold Cup to be in odd years.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense, to be fair.
No, that makes sense. It was the CONCACAF Nations League and how the CONCACAF teams qualified Copa America. They're top after the end of their 23-24 Nations League. Made it into the top 4 made it in, and then they had a 2 more playoff from the 4 quarterfinal losers. Played a little mini tournaments. Canada and Costa. So they made it through.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. And the looking at the thing, they have always had it every 2 years. So CONCACAF already do what I suggested they should do. So my bad, CONCACAF. You were already doing it the right way.
Good work for CONCACAF. They'd listen to you retroactively.
They listened to us retroactively, indeed. So they do a tournament every 2 years, and they do it in odd years, which once again I like that idea, and it just doesn't clash with the Women's World Cup, because they have their continental competition for the women on even years.
Look at that! They've been real smart.
So, really, I think. Maybe the North Americans have it right. We do a combo of what they do and the Africans do.
Yeah, I think
every
so.
2 years in odd years. And then you I'm not saying you do this with the Euros or the Copa America.
Yeah, but all the others.
But all the others can do that. That would make a lot of sense, I think.
Yeah. And then you can have the women's in the other years as well, and then it all sort of works out.
I mean, Oceania can do what they're doing and just do it at the same time as the Euros and CONMEBOL, because in the end it's not going to matter, and Oceania can have another tournament after the World Cup, if it's a summer World Cup, like they traditionally used to, and do it every 2 years. I don't mind that at all. But going into the actual tournament itself, we had a qualifying. Unfortunately, American Samoa, for the first time since 1996, were not able to send a team, and it was between Samoa, Tonga, and the Cook Islands. This tournament was hosted in Tonga, Nuku'alofa, in the capital. And my apologies, I'm probably butchered that massively. And they and Samoa managed to qualify for this tournament. In our groups, we have our seeds: New Zealand, the Solomon Islands, and Vanuatu playing at home. This tournament is being hosted by Vanuatu and Fiji. The games are going to be held in 2 stadiums: HFC Bank Stadium in Suva, and the VFF Freshwater Stadium in Port Vila. Suva Stadium is a capacity of 15,000, and Port Vila's one has a capacity of 6,500. Honestly, the HFC Bank Stadium in Suva reminds me of stadiums I've seen in Brunei and Bangladesh. Looks like a nice, suburban stadium if you were in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Obviously slightly more high tech with more like facilities and things like that.
Yeah.
It is obviously also the home of Fiji Rugby and the Fiji Sevens team.
Yeah.
And rugby league team. So, and I expect the tournament to be well supported. I think local fans love football in both these countries.
Definitely, yeah. I think it'll be very well supported in both those. Like, Vanuatu and Fiji have had long history of strong football, support and stuff. So, their teams generally do pretty well at these Oceania Cups anyway.
Yeah, and I believe Vanuatu has pretty much played in every single tournament that's happened so far, other than the one in 2020. Oh wait, 2020 was cancelled, so this is the 10th tournament. So they've been in every.
They missed the 1996 edition.
They missed 96.
I think that's it. Yeah, they missed the 1996. That's the only one they've missed. And then...
Yeah, Oceania used to do it every 2 years. They stopped. Why did they stop?
Yeah.
That was a mistake. They should have kept their every 2 years tournament. So New Zealand is the only country that have qualified for every single one of these. Obviously, before this happened, Australia qualified for all of them apart from when they left in 2006.
I should give Vanuatu and Fiji and others. The 96 tournament was a little bit weird. It was like just 4.
Right. So the 96 tournament was basically New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Australia, and Fiji.
Yeah, they were trying a thing where they did two. New Zealand and Australia went straight in, and then they did 2 other cups of the teams that are sort of close together to sort of do that, and then the winners of that came and played against New Zealand. Yeah.
Right. Alright, so it looks like, the Solomon Islands qualified for that tournament along with Tahiti. Okay. Yeah. So there was only those 4 teams.
Yeah, it's just 4 teams. So yeah, Tahiti won the Polynesia Cup. Solomon Islands won the Melanesia Cup. 94. They qualified. New Zealand and Australia. Then somehow they made New Zealand and Australia play one of the semi-finals.
Yeah. I don't mind the idea of a Polynesia Cup and a Melanesia Cup, to be fair. We can just tell the Micronesians to join us and we have the 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And get Big Brother Australia back into the Confederation. So we've got our qualifying teams. Obviously, Vanuatu and Fiji qualified as hosts. New Caledonia did qualify, but they are no longer able to compete. They withdrew because of social unrest in the country. A very late withdrawal, like 5th June, and hasn't had enough time to call in a replacement. Like, I would have thought at least you could have asked Tonga if they wanted to join. Tonga or Cook Islands.
Exactly.
If they wanted to join in, because the Cook Islands came second in that qualifying tournament. Then you got Papua New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, Tahiti, and Samoa, who was the team that qualified through the qualifying rounds.
Yeah.
Now, I think the way it works is that they will Group A is effectively a group of 3, and Group B is going to be a group of 4.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more interesting because Group A obviously has New Zealand. It's a bit. They get a bit lucky because New Caledonia is one of the stronger teams, I believe, in this tournament.
They were the 3rd ranked team coming into the tournament with New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, New Caledonia, something like that. So yeah, New Zealand sort of lost the other close team. So yeah, Solomon Islands is 4th. So, and
Yeah.
Solomon Islands have beaten New Zealand in the past, so that could be
Yeah.
interesting. But Vanuatu is the 7th strongest one, so you would expect both New Zealand and Solomon Islands to beat them, and therefore progress through to
Qualified through.
the
Yeah.
semi-finals.
It's a bit unfortunate for the host. They could have at least had another game
Yeah.
to play, but it's a bit unlucky they got basically potted with the three really strong teams.
Yeah.
The next group we have Papua New Guinea, Fiji at home, Tahiti, and Samoa. I think great outcome for hosts Fiji because they got a much weaker group. I think Tahiti and Samoa are both teams they can beat, and obviously Papua New Guinea, they're going to fight over who gets to top this group and probably try to avoid New Zealand in the semis.
Exactly. Technically, Tahiti is slightly stronger than Fiji. I think you're right that Fiji will be playing at home. That's the important game, and so that's the last game of the group stage. So they can target that one. They start with their hard one against Papua New Guinea. So if they can get something out of that, then they'll be in good stead.
Yeah, and we can't take New Zealand winning it for granted. Absolutely anything can happen in a semi-final. Like if something happens and Papua New Guinea are second, that would be
Solomon Islands.
That would be top semi-final for New Zealand to play.
Solomon Islands beat New Zealand during group plays. New Zealand in second. Then you're heading towards the Papua New Guinea semi-final as well. That's another team that you don't want to be. Yeah, so it's not an easy run for New Zealand. They've got to get past the tricky game of the Solomon Islands, and then even if they come first and Fiji do come second in their pool, that's going to be quite a big game really, because that will be in front. I assume that will be in Fiji, in front of all the Fijian quarters. Oh no, it looks. Technically, although it looks like all the semi-finals and finals are going to be played in Vanuatu. It might make that a little easier. I was just thinking if it was played against Fiji and Fiji, that's not necessarily going to be the easiest thing. But it does look like the semi-finals and finals get played in Vanuatu.
Yeah, and it is a bit harsh on Group B because they're going to be both New Zealand and the Solomon Islands are probably just going to beat Vanuatu and get through because they don't need to worry about a fourth team, and they're going to be pretty well rested. New Zealand was supposed to play on the 15th. Yeah. And along with the Solomon Islands playing against Vanuatu. And instead, they get to play the Solomon Islands after the Solomon Islands have played Vanuatu already. I think that gives New Zealand a really big advantage, just because they'll be playing a team that's had a bit of wear and tear. Maybe it works the other way around. Solomon Islands have a bit of match fitness. It wouldn't surprise me if that game ended in a draw, and then they wait till. The New Zealand then waits till the 21st to play Vanuatu. That's a decent amount of rest, 3 days. Yeah. And then whichever semi-final they play in, it's on the 26th. So they get a pretty good break, 5 days before having to worry about the semis, and then
4 days till the final after that.
Till the finals. So they can take it pretty easy, but some New Zealand and the Solomon Islands, I think at this stage, I think those two might be the favorites to reach the finals, just because they get a bunch of breaks, and once the Solomon Islands play New Zealand, they've got almost a week before they got to go play in the semis.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think you're right there that it's the way it's worked out is going to be beneficial for Group A, which would have been a little weird because the original seeding of that would have made that a very tough. Just the fact
Yes.
that New Caledonia's had to pull out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for the tournament, but obviously it's very unfortunate in what's happening in New Caledonia. So it's not something that was foreseen and it's just unfortunately happened. Now, do you agree with me? Solomon Islands, New Zealand in the finals. I think obviously New Zealand's gonna win. They're rightfully favorites, but decent chance for the Solomons to take their first title.
Yeah, no, I think it's a decent chance for Solomon.
Now win.
Yeah, it should be New Zealand. New Zealand's ranked quite a bit above Solomon Islands, who are got a bit of distance between them and the rest of the Oceania teams. So I think it should be those two in the final. Quite likely will be, I think. You say Papua New Guinea might be able to play a little bit of spoiler for whoever has to play them in the semi-final. But it will be that. Then New Zealand should be.
Yeah, I concur. So moving on from the AFC, we go across the Pacific into the continent of America. That's right. There's only one continent because it's a single continent competition. The Copa America.
Yeah.
We are going to now. We had originally planned to review every country's kit along with their what we think of their chances at the tournament. It was impossible to find any kit information for Oceania teams other than New Zealand. So we thought it would be a bit harsh on the other teams too. And if you know the level of professionalism for a lot of these soccer associations in Oceania, we didn't want to give everybody dog ate my homework rank because they felt mean.
Did feel mean, they say, and they may have good kits, but just because there's not a photo of them online doesn't, it feels a bit harsh. You say it's not like they're South American or European teams for superstars and earn lots of money and all the rest, and everybody's taking their photos left, right, and centre and crowding it. So it does feel a bit mean to have to go around and rank them.
Yeah. Exactly. But theoretically, this is not officially part of the rankings. I think the All Whites kit looks pretty smart. I like the blue. I like their black and white alternate strip as well. I'm not a fan of the way the Silver Fern looks on it. I like the Puma, the way it looks. It's very clean. There's bits of blue. I don't understand the bits of blue, why it's there, but it's interesting.
Well,
But all whites means all white.
Yeah.
I don't mind blue trims. I don't want it anywhere else on the shirt.
It feels like it's a little bit of homage to the women's who sort of played in a little bit more of a tealy blue. I mean, they were playing, but they had the teal blue shorts last year at the World Cup and had the sides. Yeah. So it feels like it's taking a bit of that, which is fine, and it's pretty good. Sort of right, it looks just a little bit weird to have this. It's not like going full blue anywhere. It's just sort of smudged blue and like it's dirty.
Yeah.
It got washed with the blue colours and accidentally.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's what it looks like.
Like I said, I don't mind the collar. I like that it's a V-neck. I don't mind the blue if it's a tribute to like hosting a World Cup. I get that.
Yeah.
But okay, it's definitely not fashion crime. It's not meh. I think B tier.
I think B tier.
All right, all whites get a B tier. I think meh tier for the away kit, the black and white.
Yeah, that's pretty stock standard. Sort of throw some ferns in there. How many black ferns do they need in the black kit?
Yeah, like I'm not even sure that the All Whites should wear a black kit as the away jersey. And nobody who's a soccer fan in New Zealand likes wearing a black jersey. So we know, and this is not a particularly inspiring one that is going to make us want to wear it. It's, yeah, C's get degrees, meh tier.
Meh tier, yeah, I think C's get degrees. So I do like the silver fern on the actual silver fern on the black one sticks out to me more than on the white one. The white one I'm like, yeah, it is a bit weird, and then on the black one it's like, ooh, still C's get degrees.
Yeah.
Very meh.
Yeah.
But that just makes that silver fern look worse.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite. I don't think it's outrageous enough to be fashion crime.
No.
Like, I don't hate it. I just don't feel anything.
Yeah, exactly. It is. To be fair, it is sort of quintessential meh. Like,
yeah.
It is what it is. Like, it's fine, I guess. Okay. I'm not gonna rush out and buy it.
Exactly. Well, that is the end. Thanks for listening all the way through.
If you liked what you heard, we have even more. NineSixFourTwo Discord and a Buy Me a Coffee.
Pretty sure it's Buy Me a Beer.
Oh yeah, buy me a beer on buymeacoffee.com.
In both these places, you can talk to us, and we may even listen, especially if you do buy a said beer or coffee. I might still be confused.
Yes, we're easily bribed. All links are in the show notes below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This is on YouTube.